Hello, 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 everyone. We can see some seats getting filled here, so that's really exciting. Hopefully you are all able to hear me. We did some testing in advance, so we should be good there. We'll start this presentation webinar on time at 11, so we'll allow for another 60 seconds or so if people get here. All righty. So again, thank you guys all for taking time out of your day to join us for this webinar. We will be recording this webinar, posting it on our website, in addition to sending it out to you all in an email with a link to the recording. So just please keep an eye out for that. Give us about 24 hours to get all that stuff uploaded. In addition, we do and would love for any and all of you to ask as many questions as you can or as you want. There's a Q&A section at the bottom of your Zoom where you'll be able to push any questions that you have through. We'll take some time at the end to filter and go through those questions, making sure we give everybody an opportunity to be heard. And without further ado, let me go ahead and cue up the presentation. So Liz Brown will be speaking on the 2022 traveler trends that will help reshape your online performance. And then again, after that, we'll jump into some Q&A. So Liz, take it away, please.
Thank you. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started. So Lyles did a great job of just kind of introducing the topic, but just to give you guys more information on today's flow, we'll spend some time kind of going over a little bit about me because I can't help myself. And then about Restream for those of you that are not aware of what it is that we do. Then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of the traveler trends, and then I'll provide a quick recap before we transition over to Q&A. So with that, my name is Liz Brown. I'm the VP of Customer Delivery here at Restream. Believe it or not, I've been here for a little over 11 years. I am originally from Illinois, so the Midwest, but I've been out in Denver for the last 14 years. And every single time I go back to the Midwest, no knock against the Midwest, but you know, they're always asking me if I'm ever going to make it back. And I don't see that really happening. Love Denver, love the outdoors. Love, you know, taking walks and hitting up my yoga studio. And then I recently welcomed my daughter at the end of August. So doing lots of exploring with her now too. So about Restream, you know, I would say that we are a small business and we serve small businesses. You know, we are a team of passionate individuals. You know, what I view us as is really an extension of your properties team. So even though we may not necessarily be on site with you every single day, we are here kind of servicing and providing you with solutions and hopefully addressing any questions and any immediate needs just to kind of support your own business goals. You know, with the team here, we have 100 years of combined industry experience. So I'd like to think that we know a little bit about what we're doing and can kind of bring that experience, you know, to the table to kind of help navigate any questions or problems that you're facing. And I think, you know, what really makes us unique is that we do offer kind of a suite of solutions. So if you're wanting marketing, you can come to us. If you're wanting a website, you can come to us. If you need software or a booking engine to assist your property and being run and being able to acquire some additional reservations through any of those, you know, we can definitely help you out. And we are just solely focused on independently owned properties. So none of those chains, really just focusing on those independently owned properties and trying to help them in whatever way that we can, whether, you know, that is making them run efficiently or helping them grow. So enough about me and Restream. Let's move forward with the traveler trends. So to kind of kick the first traveler trend off, it is sustainable stays. So Google found, which of course is kind of a big deal anytime we hear that word Google, but Google found 82% of people say sustainability is more top of mind than before the pandemic, and recorded a 70% rise in the number of travelers seeking sustainable travel options in this new year. So what that means is we want to try to take advantage of that and leverage that if we can. So around 3/4 of those respondents, want to take personal responsibility for their impact while traveling, reducing energy and water consumption, using more environmentally friendly methods of transportation, and reducing their carbon footprints and waste. So if you're a property that has taken steps towards sustainability, that can definitely help improve your image. It can show your customers that you're innovative and you can profit from those financial benefits. And so these efforts really should be promoted on the property's website, your property's website, by creating a dedicated page depending on the amount of initiatives that you're actually implementing on site. As well as some third-party listings, such as Google My Business and social media. So those of you that were not aware, Google My Business just in this last year went ahead and actually added some new sections, assuming your property listing has access to these hotel attributes section, which just has to do with how you're categorizing your property type. But nonetheless, under the hotel attributes section in your Google My Business listing, you should have a gamut of amenities and features that you can kind of provide Google with. But two of these has to do with the sustainable practices. And so you'll see here on the left, the first category is sustainability. And so you can kind of quickly go through and there's a bunch of different options that you kind of pick and choose from where you can say yes, no, yes, no. So this example to the left isn't all of the options available, but it's just giving you an example of one of the properties that we're providing marketing services to and what they're doing. Then another section is eco certifications, and that's what you'll see here on the right-hand side. And so you'll want to quickly kind of go through and identify the ones that you may have or may not have. But nonetheless, this is going to help your overall local online presence within Google. But also it's just another tool for you to be able to take advantage of and to share more about the property in the event that, travelers are looking for what your property is doing in an effort to try to acquire their business and acquire that reservation. So please take time to go through that Google My Business listing, fill that out as much as you possibly can. But if you're wanting to target some more of these eco-conscious travelers, certainly make a point to fill out the sustainability and eco certification section. The next we have here is TripAdvisor's Green Leaders Program. So this was launched in the US in April of 2013. So it's actually been around for a while, but it showcases a variety of eco-friendly hotels and B&Bs. So from budget to luxury, for any of those properties that are committed to green practices like recycling, local and organic food, even electric car charging stations. These properties can more or less apply to TripAdvisor's Green Leaders Program. And then if accepted, you have the option to kind of promote one of 4 statuses that ranges anywhere from bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. And the higher the status, the greater the impact of the property's green practices. So each application is assessed against kind of the holistic set of environmental criteria, including practices regarding linen and towel reuse, recycling, composting, solar panels, and again, electric car charging stations. So if this is something that you are implementing and you're already doing, but you haven't necessarily leveraged, please get in contact with your TripAdvisor account manager so that they can walk you through how you can apply And hopefully from there, you'll be able to acquire one of those 4 statuses, promote that on your TripAdvisor listing, as well as your website and other online listings. So an example of a property that we provide marketing services to that is eco-friendly has made a point to kind of go into great detail on all the things that they're doing so that they can educate those type of customers on what it is that they're doing and how they're really delivering on their green friendly initiatives. So, you know, if you have enough content, if there's enough details, certainly create a page, add it to your website, make a point to optimize this page. This is just another opportunity for you to acquire website traffic. Also focus on the type of traveler that you're truly trying to attract. And so, you know, a good baseline would be kind of going through, maybe starting with that Google My Business listing and identifying, you know, all the different things that you're doing. Maybe there's certain things that Google hasn't necessarily included in that checklist that you're doing in addition to that. So kind of start there, figure out exactly how much content you're working with. And if it does make sense, you know, if you're able to provide over, you know, 150 words, I would say, then that means that you probably have enough meat where it's valuable enough to kind of create a separate dedicated page offering more information on those green practices. Other things that you can kind of do on the website is looking at certain logos or certifications or badges to kind of indicate some of those specific practices. Even if you have a blog, it's probably, you know, in your best interest this year sometime, you know, if not once, several times, promoting some of those eco-friendly traveler tips or some of those practices that, you know, you're performing on site to kind of service those guests. The more content, the more information you're giving Google to kind of highlight, you know, what it is that you're doing. And then that just increases the likelihood of them wanting to display your website as a good property for those guests to kind of go to when it comes to their trip. All right, so that is the first traveler trend, sustainable stays. The next we have is workcations and leisure. So, you know, when the pandemic, you know, moved, that really encouraged most of corporate America to kind of move online. And many companies are actually seeing greater productivity from their employees working remotely. So the fact that employees now have more flexibility, properties really should look at ways to kind of tailor their amenities to guests who want to stay for these types of trips. So for those of you that are unsure of what these two terms are, let me break that down. Workcation, so these types of workers, otherwise known as digital nomads, travel permanently while working online. So their trips are usually going to be several weeks or months, whereas the leisure travelers, these stays are going to be far shorter. So this travel trend is all about combining work or business trip with adventures, entertainment, and the other perks of spending time in kind of a new area. So an example would be an employee who wants to add a few days of fun onto a conference, or a remote worker who doesn't want to wait for an all-out vacation to start enjoying themselves. These travelers may spend, you know, a week or two tops with mornings by the pool, afternoon on their laptop, at a conference, or even kind of checking out your area's nightlife scene. So what you can do kind of focus on these types of guests is creating unique and compelling offers that address those requirements. So this can be everything from discounts on extra nights to all-inclusive packages that feature meals at local restaurants, tickets to nearby tours and attractions, access to business-centric resources like private workspaces, along with high-speed Wi-Fi. It's also important for these type of travelers to create a sense of community. So again, think about partnering up with some local businesses to create opportunities for those guests to kind of get to know some new people. And lastly, I would say it's important to think just beyond the single remote working traveler, because oftentimes when it comes to the leisure traveler, many of those guests are bringing along a spouse or, even their entire family. So, this is kind of viewed as a way for them to kind of upgrade that business trip to maybe a full-on family getaway. So you could even, if it makes sense for your property, to think about offering things like kids stay for free or access to some daytime children's services, or even, a local spa or tour for those spouses while their partner is busy, for them to be able to enjoy during that stay. These things can really increase your chances of getting that booking. So an example here that I have is, a property that actually created a package offering focused around this type of traveler, where they're highlighting, some of the different things that they can do in the area, how they can take advantage of some of those different offerings. But you can see that it really is focused on those stays Sunday through Thursday versus maybe just those weekend getaways. So something to consider, and definitely a way for you to increase kind of that midweek bookings. All right, moving on. So pet travel, this was a pretty popular one that, we've continued to experience across clients. So a poll from the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals revealed that nearly 20% of American households welcomed a new pet since the start of the pandemic. And new data from a KRC research survey shows that 85% of pet owners plan to travel within the next year. So among those same pet owners, 65% plan to bring their pets along. So properties that are in that leisure space are really seeing that they're going head to head with vacation rentals, for these types of customers. And so it really has become a compelling kind of offer to provide in order to win that leisure customer. So properties offering pet-friendly accommodations should promote local information on local parks, walking tours, that they can bring their pet along. Maybe there are some pet-friendly restaurants in the area, pet stores, and even, veterinarian services. So not only do you want to create new content on your website to kind of support and bring those type of travelers into your website to encourage them to stay with you as a result of you offering all this great information, it may behoove you to also offer some bow wow friendly packages. So that can include pet beds, treats, toys, maybe some feeding bowls that you're willing to offer to those guests during their stay as an opportunity to upsell them and to acquire more revenue from those customers. So a couple examples of what we've seen work really well is creating pet-friendly accommodation pages, where not only are you highlighting some of those specific accommodations, but you're also providing them with information regarding the policies and any fees or rules that you're wanting to put in place for those types of guests. If you have an entire page of all of your rooms and only some of those are pet friendly, think about adding a filter so that guests can quickly find those units that are available for them to be able to pick and choose from. In addition to still creating that separate pet friendly accommodation page. As I mentioned with the Green Initiatives dedicated page, this is just a way for you to give people information in a very quick, easy way for them to feel nice and comfortable to hopefully proceed with booking online with you. And it's another page for you to optimize, promote on your social media, and again, just bringing in more visibility for your brand. Other examples of resources that you can look at leveraging include directory websites such as Bring Fido. Google My Business has a separate section where you can fill out information about some of the different pet policies that you offer, whether that is only providing dog-friendly accommodations or cats, as well as if you're offering any sort of nightly fee involved with that or one-time fee involved with that. We've also seen specific pet-friendly packages being created or events throughout the year for properties to kind of highlight and again, create an opportunity to bring those guests into the property, especially if this is kind of a new segment you're trying to go after. And then, what we also want to strongly encourage is that, implement whatever changes that you need on the booking engine side to kind of fully support any of those additional charges or fees that you may be having. So that way, when guests are interested in staying in one of those accommodations, they're not having to pick up the phone, give you a call, contact you in order to make that transition possible. Let's try to identify exactly what it is that you're trying to achieve. Get in touch, with your PMS provider to see how they can kind of support you. This is an example of our cloud PMS, and more or less, they provide pet-friendly accommodations across all of their units. And so it was easy as just adding in as an add-on package for them to take advantage of if that's something that they're wanting to have in their next stay. So with that, this is more or less kind of the recap. I think the major things here that I wanted to call out is that, evaluate kind of what you're currently doing, because I often have found, especially when it comes to kind of the green friendly initiatives, traveler trend, that, you may be doing stuff that you haven't really even considered as being green friendly that you can highlight. Or, maybe there are opportunities and easy wins for you to implement that is not going to be, super negative, for your business, or maybe it's not going to be something that you can facilitate at this time, but just determine kind of which ones are going to be a good fit for you. If these are customers that you're wanting to go after, you certainly want to spend time kind of identifying how you plan on going about promoting it on your website, whether it involves filters or adding a separate page on the website. Where's that page going to go? If there are badges that you can take advantage of, where should those badges be promoted? So look at kind of exactly how you plan on rolling that out on your website. And then, of course, optimize. And, the third thing that I have here is, not only do you need to just focus on your website, but then you need to take full inventory of all the other places that you're promoting your property. So whether that's Google My Business, social media, TripAdvisor, we mentioned, anything out there you want to take full inventory of, update accordingly. And of course, there's maybe some new sites out there that you're not, taking advantage of, that you can certainly kind of put in your portfolio. And then the last is just knowing that we are here to kind of assist in putting some of this stuff in play for you, whether it's launching, managing, and more. So my final thing that I'll say here before we kind of move on to the Q&A is that, by embracing these traveler trends and making certain tweaks to maybe some already existing processes, you certainly can increase your direct bookings, and you can create unique experiences that ultimately bring these guests back for future visits. So before we move on to the Q&A, just wanted to remind you all that we do have an education center where you can get access to any upcoming webinars, past blogs, and resource guides. So please feel free to go to restream.com/education. And then with that, Lyles, I'll turn it over to you if we have any questions for us to answer.
Yeah, awesome job. Thank you so much for putting that all together. I'm looking at the Q&A bucket now, and I don't see any. So I just want to give everybody an opportunity maybe to, sit back and think about the topic again. We have an expert here in a variety of different areas, so a good time for you to ask, I'll say any question at this point. So I'll leave a little bit time for you guys to see if you have any questions. Otherwise, we'll let you guys get out of here early. And again, we'll follow up with the recording as well as an email with the link in addition to that. There we go. We've got a question coming in. Thank you, Anne. Anne, Liz would like for you to define the workcation and the bleisure again. Just one more time, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So workation, I view as people that have committed to kind of traveling while working remotely. So those people are going to be comfortable staying with you for several weeks, maybe a month or two at a time. Whereas the bleisure travelers are kind of blending maybe an existing work opportunity with trying to fit in a vacation in there. So it's not 100% business, it's not 100% leisure, it's kind of a mix between two of those. Typically what we've seen with the bleisure traveler segment is that, those types of guests are not as comfortable maybe spending, several weeks to months at a property. Their stays are probably going to be a little bit shorter. So maybe it's a longer weekend, maybe it's a week or so, but no more than that. So hopefully that answers your question. And if not, Anne, then feel free to ask another one.
Yeah, I don't see a rebuttal or a follow-up to that, Liz. So I believe that would have done enough to at least clarify that one more time. Any other questions from anyone else in the audience? Nothing is off limits, I'll say. Liz may not like that, but I'll let you guys ask what you have. Okay, well, I don't want to force the issue, Liz. We don't have anything else, so I think we're good at this time. So again, thank you all for taking time out of your day to join Restream for this webinar session. We will be reaching out to you all again with an upcoming webinar for next month. And then, like Liz mentioned, visit us on our Education Center for blogs, resource guides, and webinar recordings. You all take care, and we'll see you guys next time.